I want to know from Kane Bishop, pro IFBB bodybuilder who's preparing to compete tomorrow at the Dallas Europa Pro Show, what things not to eat before a bodybuilding competition. Now here's some of the things we got to take into consideration. We got to consider water retention. We got to consider we don't want to put on fat, obviously, and we don't want to cause bloating. We want to keep the stomach and the waist as tight as possible. So in order to have the tightest possible waist, not to have water retention, and have the muscles as full as possible but not spill over into fat, what foods do you avoid?
Milk. Can't do milk. Anything like that, pretty much. Those are like the forbidden things to do.
I do understand the milk, because it's not just the lactose intolerance that causes the bloating. Milk is also a very common allergen. Even in a small amount, it can cause a little bit of inflammation in the body. I avoid gluten because to me that bloats me up a little bit, and any bread products bloat me up a little bit. And I don't think it's just the gluten, because I take gluten enzyme pills and I still bloat up. So there's something about wheat products that seem to bloat my stomach, make my stomach bigger, clog me up. Any food with sodium has to be monitored closely, because we're trying to take in a certain amount of sodium at certain times.
Obviously you don't want to go overboard with the sodium, but sodium, there's actually quite a bit of bodybuilders who actually need to keep sodium in their diet and not take it out of it. I know some people who actually cut sodium because they feel like it retains water. And I know some who don't at all, and they look amazing. In fact, even leaner than somebody who's actually cutting sodium. So it just depends on your genetic makeup.
A lot of coaches will have people cut out vegetables too, pretty much anything fibrous, because they think it takes too long to get through. But my approach is eat a lot of fiber the day before the competition, or at least drink the fiber powder, and then take a laxative the day before. And that way, the morning of the show, and I time it correctly based on the knowledge of my body. It's not something I would practice the first time the day before a bodybuilding competition.
We did it.
I take the laxative, and then I go to the bathroom in the morning before the show, and I don't eat very much the day of the show. That way my waist is really tight. Because if you look at my stage pictures, my waist is pretty tight. A lot tighter compared to when I just walk around. My waist is kind of normal, but when it's showtime, I bring in my waist really tight. And that's about getting the inflammation out of the digestive system, so not eating any foods that cause inflammation. I also take an allergy pill. I take sometimes a Benadryl before bed as an antihistamine to reduce inflammation.
Really?
And then also definitely a Claritin before bed and in the morning to remove any inflammation from any allergies from the ambient environment or possible potential food allergies, just out of an abundance of caution. We also avoid artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, we do.
Artificial sweeteners, according to Amin, create a layer of film under the skin, a little bit of water under the skin, a little bit of inflammation in the body, so we cut out artificial sweeteners. Most bodybuilding coaches have you cut out protein powder completely. I still use protein powder right up. I just use like a whey isolate with absolutely nothing added to it. And it doesn't really have many of the ingredients from milk. It doesn't really have many of the potential allergens. It's so pure that for me it cannot cause any possible inflammation. The only worry with it is that because it digests so quickly, it's basically converting over through glucose, but then usually it's directly to fat. And so I don't want to have those excess calories or unnecessary insulin spikes before the show. I want to control my insulin and control my calories more than you can with protein powder.
Right.
Yeah, so that covers it. Those are the foods we try to avoid before a bodybuilding competition. Keep our waist tight. Be swole and swole, my friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.
Coming up, we never stop. It's time for war, leave y'all in shock. Coach Trevor, Tony Huge, love the fam, staying true. E18, we the baddest. Nobody can outlast this.